Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Boxiest, and today we are going to continue the What If series. What if events had gone differently? And in this What If, we're going to change the history of Cobra Kai. What if Carmen went to Mexico during the events of Cobra Kai Season 5? So in this timeline, the events of Cobra Kai Season 4 would still happen. Season 4 would still end the same way. Cobra Kai would still win the All Valley. Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do would be forced to shut down. Robbie would still go to Johnny in this timeline, and Miguel would still run away. Carmen would still find the note, and she would show it to Johnny. Johnny would want to go to Mexico to get Miguel, but in this timeline, Carmen would want to go with Johnny. She would say that it was too dangerous, and that Hector was a man that was unpredictable. Johnny would want to convince Carmen to stay, that it was too dangerous for her to go, but in this timeline, Carmen wouldn't back down, and she would want to go with Johnny. Johnny would want to convince Robbie to go with them, but since Carmen was going with Johnny, Robbie would know something was up, so in this timeline, Robbie wouldn't go with them. Terry Silver would still betray Kreese, Daniel would still get chosen, Johnny and Carmen would be on their way to Mexico. In this timeline, Johnny wouldn't buy the FBI shirts, and the events of Season 5 would carry on. Miguel would still be looking for Hector, but he would have no luck, and he would still call Sam to check up on her. Those events would stay the same. Sam would call Carmen to let her know where Miguel was. Miguel would eventually find his father, and they would start to reconnect. Johnny and Carmen wouldn't be distracted, and they would make it to the city a lot sooner. And since Carmen spoke Spanish, Johnny and Carmen wouldn't have as many problems. Hector and Miguel would start bonding. Miguel would still find out that Carmen never told Hector that he was born, so Miguel would still be mad at Carmen, and he would call her. That conversation would be very similar, only Carmen wouldn't tell Miguel that they were on their way, and Hector would still take Miguel to the fighting arena. Those events would stay the same, and Johnny would see Miguel on the ledge with Hector. Johnny and Carmen would make their way to the stairs, and Johnny would tell Carmen to stay back. He would say that who knows what Hector would do if he saw her again, so Johnny would go confront Hector and Miguel. Miguel would be surprised to see Johnny. Hector would be confused, so Miguel would only refer to Johnny as a family friend, so Hector would introduce himself to Johnny. Johnny would want to get Miguel out of there. He would say that his mom was worried about him, but Miguel wouldn't want to leave. This is when Hector would notice Carmen down below, and he would be surprised to see her, so Hector would make his way towards Carmen. Johnny and Miguel would be too distracted arguing, so Hector would confront Carmen. He would still be mad that Carmen left all of a sudden. Hector and Carmen would start arguing. This is when Johnny and Miguel would notice that Hector was gone, so Johnny would make his way towards Carmen, and Miguel would follow, and Miguel would be surprised to see his mom. This is when Hector would put two and two together, and he would realize that Miguel was his son. He would be filled with mixed emotions. Hector would be surprised that Miguel was his son, and he wouldn't want to let Miguel leave. Hector would get even more mad at Carmen for not telling him about Miguel. Johnny would want to separate Miguel from Hector, but this is when Hector would call Vicente and a couple of his men, and they would want to take Johnny away. So Johnny would start fighting back. Carmen would want to stop Hector, but this is when Hector would hit Carmen. Miguel would be seeing red, and he would be filled with rage. He would realize that what his mom said about Hector was true, so Miguel would start fighting Hector, and he would want to defend his mom. And Miguel would take down Hector, and he would remember the no mercy philosophy, so Miguel would show no mercy. Miguel would tell Hector that no one hits his mom. This is when Miguel would help Johnny take down Hector's men, so Johnny and Miguel would team up to take down Hector's men. So Johnny, Miguel, and Carmen would get out of there, and they would start driving back to the US. Carmen would ask Miguel if he was okay. Miguel would say that he was, and he would apologize to Carmen and Johnny for leaving the US, and he would thank them for coming for him. He would say that Carmen was right about Hector, so Johnny, Carmen, and Miguel would come back to the US, and the events of Season 5 would be very similar, and that is where I'm gonna end this What If. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think would have happened if Carmen went to Mexico during the events of Cobra Kai Season 5? Let me know in the comments below. YouTube lets me know that the majority of you are not subscribed, so if you guys could subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys next time.